let's ask the right question. What are you, and how did you end up in a hell dream? How did you end up having this nightmare? If you could have had any dream that you wanted, how did you end up having a nightmare? How did you end up in a realm where all living beings have to rely on other living beings for their survival? There are animals that will eat you so that they can survive. How did you end up in a realm like this? Would you have wanted to end up in a realm like this? Is there something that you're benefiting from being in a realm like this? Are you actually happy? Do you feel like you could have this experience forever? Do you feel like everything is working out for the best? Do you feel like you'll understand one day? Or do you feel like you're in a trap? What are you, and how did you end up having this nightmare? This is a very, very important question. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of people making is convincing themselves that they can't know the truth. The truth is unknowable. Or if you convince yourself that the truth is unknowable, even if you found the truth, you wouldn't know that it's the truth because you've already convinced yourself that the truth is unknowable. Some convince themselves that they don't deserve to know the truth. At this level, we don't even deserve to know the truth. What if the truth is not as complicated as you think it is? You are just making it complicated. You expect the truth to be complicated, so you make it complicated. Like, you don't believe that knowing the truth could be that easy. That would be like if someone gave you $1 million, like, here's $1 million. How would you react? Be like, oh, what am I supposed to do? Like, here's $1 million, take it and leave. Huh? No, there's something that there's something that I must do, right? There has to be a catch. Like, you don't think that you can just be given $1 million that easily. There must be some things that you must do. But what if the truth has always been simple? What if the truth has always been knowable? What if you just confused yourself? Let's say you were playing a video game. But you don't really know that it's a video game, right? You think that it's real. You think that the NPCs are real. The houses that you see are real. The shops that you see are real. The cars that you see are real. What would you tell yourself? You'll tell yourself that those cars, after you pass them, maybe they go and park somewhere, right? The houses, after you pass them, they still there. The people that you interact with, the NPCs that you'll be interacting with, you convince yourself that they have their own lives, they have their own minds, there are things that they do even when you're not looking. That's what you're going to convince yourself. And because of that, it won't be easy for you to realize that it's a video game. Like, the simple truth that it's a video game, there's nothing more to it. It's just a video game. Same thing that happens when you are dreaming. You convince yourself that the people that you're interacting with, they have their own background stories, they have their own minds, they have their own problems. You see a house, you believe that there is something inside, but there's nothing inside. You see a car, you believe that it was created, but it wasn't created. There weren't people in China who decided that they're going to create that car, right? But you believe that it must have been created. That's why it's there. How else will it be there if it wasn't created? So now you are complicating things. So to figure out what's really going on, you must first try to figure out how the cars were created, how the people, where the people that you interact with come from, their parents, who was the first person to be created. You'd need to know about history. You see, you are complicating things for yourself. What if all that exists is now, and you are what is imagining everything, and that's the truth? Like, the truth is that simple. There's no background story. You imagine the past, you imagine the present, you imagine the future. But you don't believe that you are imagining the past, you don't believe that you're imagining the present, you don't believe that you're imagining the future. That would be like if you were hallucinating and you believe that your hallucinations were real. So now you are lost in your own imagination, right? You're scared of your own projection. Dude, can't be raining again. Man! Come on. It rained like an hour ago. I wanted to come this side and record. In fact, I wanted to go to the gym first. I was like, you know what, let me just record first and then I'll go to the gym. It stopped, bro. Like, it stopped raining. It was sunny and then now it's raining again. This weather, bro. But yeah, what if the real problem is that you expect the truth to be complicated? You don't expect the truth to be something very simple. I want you to imagine the beginning of everything. If you believe that we live in a material universe, I want you to imagine yourself in a material universe. What is the first thing that actually started to exist in this universe? And how did it manage to create a universe like this? Would you say that there was always something that existed? But at what point did it start to create something like this? Because it's illogical to think that the planets that we see, full of different animals that are conscious, no, the galaxies, many stars, wait, I'll continue recording. I think there's gonna be heavy rain. The more you think about materialism, the more it doesn't make sense. Because think about it, if we really live in a physical universe, that would mean that everything that exists was actually created. That would mean that God literally created everything. He created each and every planet one by one. I'm creating Mars now. I'm creating the moon now. I'm creating the sun now. I'm creating people now. I'm creating aliens, if aliens exist. I'm creating animals now. And sometimes we'll get it wrong. Be like, shit, I have to get it right now. And then he decided that I'm going to hide from everyone. After creating all this, he's like, I'm just going to hide from everyone. We're talking about something that wasn't created, right? God, it has to be, he has to have come out of nothing. Even if you want to say that, no, God was created, you still have to answer who created God. So the first creator wasn't created, but he was able to reach the level of intelligence that allowed him to create planets. How? When you think about it deeply enough, you realize that idealism makes complete sense. In the beginning, there was awareness. Awareness. There was nothing that's sourcing that awareness, just awareness. One thing that we know is that the more you ask yourself questions, right, the more you grow. Like as a human, you started to grow and become more conscious because of the questions that you were asking yourself. So if in the beginning it was just awareness, questions needed to be asked. What am I? Where do I come from? Why do I exist? And that's when growth started. What am I? Oh, I cannot exist without a creator. It means that God created me. There must be some higher power that created me. Where did that higher power come from? Why did it create me? If there was no one to tell consciousness what it's actually capable of, and it started to dream, it started to imagine things. So let's say it asks itself, what am I, right? Oh, I'm a human. I'm a bird. I'm an alien. I wouldn't even think that it's an alien because there will be no aliens at the time. But it will be, because it's asking itself questions, it will be creating answers for itself. And because there is doubt, it will be there will be contrast, right? It will also create the opposite of what it thinks. For an example, if it thinks that it was created by a God, it will also think that maybe there is no God. Keeps on asking itself questions and coming up with answers without really knowing that it's the answers that it's coming up with are what's creating reality, like on a subconscious level. So it's asking questions, coming up with the answers at the same time, and those answers are what's sourcing reality. We already know that consciousness or awareness or your mind can create reality. That's something that we know. No doubt. You know that your mind can create reality. You want to know how you know that? Because it does. We know that in your dreams there are stars. Who created those stars? God. So if we already have evidence that no, man, consciousness can create planets, bro. Consciousness can create whatever it wants to create. There's nothing that consciousness cannot create, and it can create that easily. It's not like consciousness needs time to create some. No, it will create it now. Isn't it logical to think that all of this is happening within consciousness, because consciousness is that powerful? It's actually able to create worlds. Let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. We already know what's possible already. We already know that you can dream. And we already know where dreams come. You can say, dreams come from my brain. But here's the thing, bro. Even in your dreams, you do have a brain. So does that mean that your brain in your dream, like what the brain in your dream come from? Like it's the one that's actually creating reality? Like what's going on? We must realize that because we never got answers, everything will be an illusion, right? Everything will not be real. Everything will be made up because we never got answers. We asked a very important question in the beginning: what am I? Where do I come from? And we're never given answers. So we started making shit up, and that's how we ended up with this nonsense. It wasn't intentional. Just like dreams. Dreams are not intentional. You don't dream what you want to dream, right? You don't dream up the shit that you want to dream. It just happens, and you don't know how that is happening. Last night I had a very weird dream. When I woke up, I wasn't feeling okay at all. You know, I had a dream that my mom was sick and she couldn't talk. And yeah, when I woke up, I'm like, why did I have that dream? What created that dream for me? How was it created? So it's created from my memories. But I took the dream seriously. My mom is sick. What can I do? My mom is sick. You know, I'm stressing because I'm taking the dream seriously. I don't realize that everything is made up. Everything. You know how hard it is to create things. I'm making a car. That's not easy. It's not like a car is made by one person. It has to be different people who will be making. Some people will be making the tires. Some people will make the steering wheel. Some people will make the seats. Some will make the engine. It's different people, and it takes time. How long do you think it will have taken to create this planet? They say, yeah, God exists and He's the one that created this. Like, how long and you might say, no, you are limiting God. No, I'm not. If we live in a material universe, obviously everything that would have needed to be designed, you know what I mean, like to be actually be created. The easiest way to create something is through imagination. You just imagine it into existence, the same way that you imagine things into existence in a dream. Simple. You would have needed to create volcanoes. You would have needed to create everything. Water. The trees. It would have been so damn hard for him. He would have even needed help. Christians were like, nah, man, God is so powerful. He just has to call things into existence and they will start existing. If He says, let there be light, there will be light. Well, if that's how He did it, it only proved that all of this is imaginary. Because you can imagine things into existence. If I say, let me think of a snake, I will think of a snake easily. I will imagine a snake. I think people who who don't have like an internal monologue, these are people who are able to create images in their mind, like vivid images in their mind. I'm not really able to create like a vivid image, but I can think of a snake and be like, oh yeah, a snake has 2 eyes, it has a head, it has teeth, it has this and that. Some people can create vivid images in their head, bro. Like, I'm seeing people who can draw. I can't draw. Like, people who can draw, like, person can sit down. I've always wondered how people are able to do, like, in American movies, someone will just see a paper trader and they'll be able to tell a sketch artist how that paper trader looked like. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, there are people that I see every day. I wouldn't be able to describe them to anyone. Like, if I had to describe my mom, for an example, to someone, if I had to describe myself, yeah, I wouldn't be able to describe myself. I wouldn't be able to tell the sketch artist what to draw when they're drawing me. Like, I mean, okay, I have weird teeth, at least, yeah, but that's it. Oh, and the hair and the beard, but that's it. I wouldn't really be able to describe myself. And what must be realized is that most people don't have the hairstyle that I have. Most people do not have beard, they just look just like any other person. But yeah, even though I'm not able to create vivid images in my own head, I'm still able to. I can imagine anything. It's very easy for me, and I can dream, and my dreams are so damn vivid. Like, my dreams, I see things the way that I'm seeing things now in my dreams, like the way that I'm seeing things now. My dreams are so vivid and so real that even because people, when they check their watches in their dream, like, there will be glitches, right? They'll realize, oh shit, it's a dream. It was 5:45, now it's 8:41 now. All right. Now, in my dreams, if it's 5:45, if I check my watch again, it's gonna be 5:46, 5:47, 5:40. Like, it had been, when I look at my camera, it's gonna be the way that it is now. You see, my laptop. Some people say they can't see like electronic devices in their dreams, like cell phones. They can't see the cell phones, stuff like that. TVs. like I can see that in my dreams. In fact, uh, most of my dreams I do use my phone a lot, right? Call people, I watch videos. Sometimes I'll have a dream where I'm on TikTok watching videos and I come across some videos. Sometimes I would have dreams where I'm watching my own video on YouTube. My dreams are very vivid. So I already know that consciousness can create reality. I already know without a doubt. So if that is possible, if we already know that consciousness can create reality, isn't it logical to think no, consciousness is fundamental? Matter is not fundamental. Matter is a product of consciousness. In fact, matter doesn't even exist. It's just an illusion. Because even in your dream, there seems to be matter, but there is nothing that physically exists in your dreams. It's just that it seems that way. See, that's how powerful consciousness is. So you ended up in this nightmare because you were asking questions and you didn't find the answers. You see, you expected the answer to the questions that you were asking to be very complicated. Like, nah, it can't be a dream. Like, that's ridiculous. Think that it has to be something that's not very easy to understand. And because you were frustrated while trying to figure out what the answers are, you were creating something that you don't like on a subconscious level, creating religions that don't make any sense, creating ancient texts that do not make any sense, and you weren't satisfied. You'd read this ancient text and you just weren't satisfied. You're intelligent, so you read this ancient text and like, nah, this can't be it. You see, even if you were in your sleeping dream, right? Even if you were in your sleeping dream, and you ask yourself where you come from, and they provided text, not text that you've discovered in your waking life, like new text. Even if this text makes sense, because you are intelligent, you will ask more questions that will make you realize that no, there's something off here. You see, that is why none of this ancient text really like makes sense. You see, when you keep on digging deep, you're like, nah. It's because everything is made up. You are trying to figure out what you are and where you come from, and the answers that you are getting, because they are all made up, you are not satisfied with these answers. You want more answers. But what if the answer is that simple? It's just a dream. Is that answer not satisfying enough for you? That it's just a dream. You are consciousness dreaming up everything. You're just taking this dream seriously because you don't think it's a dream. And that's adding to your suffering. Because you're like, it's real, What if it's not real? What if that's the biggest mistake that you made? You believe that this was real and you continue to believe that, and that made it seem more real even though it wasn't the whole time. What if you come from nowhere? You were just there being aware and started to ask questions, and because you were asking questions, you started to come up with answers, and because of the answers that you were coming up with, you ended up with this. If you're in a dream and you ask yourself, like, let's just say you are in a room, you are in a dream, you are in a room, not even in your room, but in a room, and you ask yourself what's outside. Try to imagine what's outside. You get out, you're going to find something outside. You're probably going to find something that associated with how you felt when you were asking yourself what is outside. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you're having a dream and you are not feeling good at all. Like you're feeling like a victim. In that dream, memories that are associated with you being a victim are going to be brought up. Like those memories are going to like be part of the dream, right? Somehow, because of the emotions that you feel. Let's say you felt like a victim in the past because maybe your father abused you when you were young. Now, before you went to sleep, your boyfriend abused you. Because of how you feel, those memories are going to be triggered. You might actually find yourself having dreams that are similar to your experiences, the experiences that you've had in the past. You see? What sucks is that consciousness doesn't really know how it's creating reality. It's creating reality from memory. It doesn't really know what it's doing. It's like if you were asked to draw and you can't draw. Like you haven't learned how to draw yet. You wouldn't really draw what you really want to draw, right? So that's what's happening. That's like consciousness is, it still seems young, and put it that way. Like it doesn't really know what it's doing. That is why this is nonsense. It doesn't know how to create a desired reality. So you found yourself in a hell dream and you don't know how to get out. But if how we feel can actually determine what kind of dreams we get to have, isn't it logical to think that how we feel now could also be able to determine what kind of experiences we have? So there's a loop, right? Your ego mind is sending messages to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind is creating reality for you. So you are feeling like a victim 24/7. Your ego mind is sending that to your subconscious mind, the feelings that are related to victimhood, right? And then memories that are associated with you being a victim are triggered on a subconscious level, and then a reality where you're a victim is created from the memories. That's why you keep on experiencing the same shit in a different way. You're like, damn, why do I keep on being a victim of this? Everywhere you work, maybe your boss treats you like shit. Like you've never worked in a place where your boss doesn't treat you like shit. You're like, what? This is a different person. Or if it's not your boss that's treating you like shit, there's someone who has some power who's treating you like shit. You're like, damn, what does this keep on happening? Like everywhere where I work, there's always has to be that one guy. How? Ever been in a situation where there's always that one guy? Like no matter what situation, like since you were a kid, in a classroom there was that one guy. You grew older, went to college, there's always that one guy. You get a job, there's always that one guy. Ever realize that actually happens? But what if you never ever felt like a victim no matter what happens? You never ever felt like a victim. You look at it this way, like, okay, this nonsense was created from my subconscious. I I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't like what was created. How do I create something better? Instead of feeling like a victim, how do I create something better? I've been in situations where I could have ruined a lot of things. I could feel like, let me be a victim this time. And I knew that a lot of things would be ruined, but I decided to be patient, or I decided to not be a victim. Like, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going to try to come up with solutions and make things better. And I'll come up with solutions and I'll be shocked at the results. I'll be like, shit, I managed to turn things around. I could have been like, okay, what happened, things are not going to become better, and that's it. And then that, you know what I mean? That would have created a ripple effect where a lot of bad things that I didn't want to see happening. Because what I've realized about consciousness is that it doesn't know right from wrong. I mean, consciousness doesn't view reality the way that I view reality as the ego mind, right? That, yeah, this is wrong, this is preferable, this is not preferable. So what I'm doing is I'm sending messages to my subconscious. My subconscious is like, oh, this is what you want, this is what I'm going to give you, right? Oh, you like being a victim, this is what I'm going to give you. You like it when people bully you, this is what I'm going to give you. You like it when people look down on you, this is what I'm going to give you. The same way it happens in our dreams, right? That's why when you are not feeling good, you have dreams that make you feel that it's because, you know what, I do think you have power to not feel bad about things. Like, you might not have power to make yourself feel good, but you do have the power to not feel bad about something that has happened. I think you do have that power. I've been in situations where something that I don't like happened, and I could sit down and just think about it and just be mad about it. Be like, yeah, this is so horrible. Why did this happen? Why did that person do that? Yeah, that's bad, man. And I wouldn't do that. I could sit down and actually have that conversation with myself and feel bad and, continue to feel bad. Or I can be like, what can I do now to feel good? You know what? Let me take a walk and just think about what I want to think about. Let me go to the gym and just focus on that. You know what I mean? Or let me just make a video. You know what I mean? Or let me go on YouTube. Let me watch South Park. Let me watch Atlanta. Let me do that. Let me not even think about it. It's not something that's worth my energy, and I'll feel good. I mean, maybe not feel good, but I would not feel bad, or as bad as I would have felt. And I will go to sleep not feeling bad and end up having nice dreams. But if I dwell on things that are making me feel negative emotions, then I'm triggering memories that are associated with those feelings that I'm generating when I'm dwelling on negative things, or things that I just don't prefer. So I have a nightmare, wake up not feeling good. Because I'm not feeling good, I'm continuing to send messages to my subconscious that I want to continue to not feel good, and then I'm attracting experiences that are making me not feel good. And you know what I mean? But if I want to turn things around, then I must focus only on feeling good, like things that are actually making me feel good. Because sometimes we dwell on things that don't even matter. Like, you find that there is something that happened, you can't even do anything to change it, and it really doesn't matter. It's not even a problem. Like, if you had a real problem now, you'd realize that that's not even a problem. You just like to dwell on negative things. That does happen. You find that you don't even have a problem right now. Like, at this very moment, you have no problem, but you like dwelling on or not that you like dwelling on negative things, but you are addicted to dwelling on negative things, right? So you just find yourself dwelling on these negative things. You always want to solve problems, and that makes you feel the way that you do not want to feel. If reality is happening in the mind, if reality is happening within consciousness, if reality is happening within your awareness, then that means that it does matter what you think, right? It does matter what you think about. It does matter what you focus on. I think you always have a choice, like when it comes to what you think, right? The problem is that we don't exercise our free will. I mean, free will is an illusion, but there's you can still catch yourself. You can still catch yourself thinking what you do not want to think. Like that can happen, right? You catch yourself thinking about something that you don't necessarily want to think about, and you decided, no, that's not what I want to think about. And the more you train yourself, the easier it will be for you. And that's why I've made videos where I spoke about it, about this, that you must, as soon as you catch yourself thinking thoughts that you do not want to think about something different, and you'll feel better. Take deep breath. Breathe slowly. You can breathe like maybe 3 times in a minute. Like breathe slowly and think about what you want to think about. Do that for like maybe 5 minutes. You'll see that you'll change how you feel. And focus on what you want to think about. The problem is that we just let our mind wander. And the problem is with that, you already seen a lot of negative shit. So if you let your mind just wander like that, it's just gonna, because there's so much negative shit, it's gonna pick some negative shit. And the negative things trigger us the most now, because we don't want to have this negative experience. Now we're so mad that we don't want this negative experience. It's like a person who's traumatized by something. Anything that reminds them of what traumatized them will make them react. Anything. I was watching. I didn't know that they've released another season of Black Mirror. I thought the guy who made Black Mirror said he's not gonna make more Black Mirror seasons, because now he sees the things that he's been making Black Mirror's episode about, right? So it's like, what can I make now? But yeah, there's this episode. I've only watched one episode actually. The second episode, I forgot the name of the episode. I think it's the name of a person. So this lady created technology that allows her to shift from one timeline to another, right? If she wants to be in a reality where she's famous, she's famous. If she wants to be in a reality where she's always right, she's always right. She would wear something as a necklace that will allow her to control the reality. So there was this lady that bullied her when she was still young. So she wanted to make her suffer. So she went to work where that lady was working. There was no post. Right, like there wasn't like they didn't have a job for that lady. But then she was surprised to see that lady working in that company. She was like, what happened? That lady used that necklace to create a reality where there is a post for her, and she'll change reality. Like if there's a word with 2 O's, like, yeah, that word has 2 O's, she'll change that and find that it doesn't have 2 O's anymore, and she'll be surprised, like, what's going on? She'll do something bad and change reality, make it seem like that lady is the one that did that. And that lady kept on reacting, even though she realized what was going on. And I felt like screaming, like, don't react at all. Be patient. Act like you don't see anything, because now you see what is happening. It's what's happening is happening so that you'll be angry, so that it will look like you're crazy. Stop reacting, stop talking about it. Now you see what is going on. Just stop. Let's see how far this lady is willing to go. But she kept on reacting and reacting and reacting. Why am I telling you that? Sometimes things happen and we're not supposed to react at all. At all. These things happen because we are sending negative messages to our subconscious. So our subconscious is waiting. Okay, what's the response to this situation? Does this person respond to this situation? Is this person giving energy to this kind of situations? Someone tries to insult you. You look at them and instantly start thinking about something else. You don't even care that they tried. You think about something else until you forget, and it doesn't matter to you. Oh, your subconscious now knows that you don't want those kind of experiences. You don't take those kind of experiences seriously. What are you focusing on? What did you choose to focus on? In fact, this is important, and I should have told you this a long time ago. If you ever find yourself feeling really, really angry or triggered, and you decide at that very moment to think about what you really want, I think that's where the magic will happen. You're angry about something, and you catch yourself. You're like, shit, I was thinking this nonsense. Boom. I want to live in a nice place. I want to have this and that. I want to be stress-free. I want to have the kind of job that I want. Imagine if I had a job that I want. Making the world a better place. You know what I mean? Not having to, work too hard. Like doing what I like. Having colleagues that I like. Yeah, use that time. The time that you feel angry, and then you shift. I think that's when the magic happened. Because I've seen magic happen in my own life. Whenever I'm able to shift quickly and feel good, like shift from, I think, because at that time, I think you use a lot of energy. So that energy that you use is so damn powerful. Like you are calling onto your subconscious at that time. So yeah, learn to think what you want to think than to think what you do not want to think. Learn to solve the problems that you want to solve, or focus on the solutions, or focus on the reality that you want, than to focus on the problems. Don't focus on complaining, focus on the solutions. That's another mistake that a lot of people who are very conscious will make, is to focus on complaining other than focusing on the solutions. Some people might say, oh, you complain. No, I don't. I express myself. When you complain, you feel angry. You feel, you know what I mean? I don't feel anything. I'm just expressing myself. I'm just releasing, basically. I'm releasing that negative energy when I express myself. That is why, they say if you have problems, you must talk to someone. You release. You see, you're not complaining. You're actually releasing. Complaining is something different. Why does this keep on happening to you? Yeah, that's complaining. And you stick on complaining and complaining, you're going to feel these negative emotions. But if you're not complaining, you just express yourself. That's a different thing. Hey, we're focusing on like becoming powerful in this realm, man. Figuring out how it really works, figuring out how reality, like what's going on our subconscious, and how to control what's going on our subconscious, and how to experience what we want to experience. And it's just not just for what is going on here, it's also for what will go on after this. When we sleep, the dreams that we're going to have, when we pass on, like what we'll be experiencing, because I think we are lost. We were lost in our own imagination, and we don't know how to free ourselves. So freeing ourselves will have to do a lot with us realizing what is actually the truth. What are we? How are we having this experience? How can we have a better experience? You see? So these are some really important questions that as conscious beings we need to attempt to answer. We should stop telling ourselves that no one can know what the truth is, no one can know what is really going on. Anyone who tells you that they know what's going on is lying. If we really want to know what's going on, we need to believe that we can know what is going on, and it's possible to know, rather than telling ourselves that it is impossible to know what's going on. No one can know what is going on. No matter what we do, we cannot know what's going on. No. That doesn't help. If we don't teach ourselves how to think, I believe that no matter where we'll find ourselves, we'll still be suffering. Because we don't know how to think. There's always two ways to look at a situation. See, if you find yourself having a problem, you could dwell on that problem and just be mad. Or you can think of a solution quickly and feel better. Let's say you lose your phone. You can focus on, yeah, man, I shouldn't have taken my phone, or I should have paid more attention. I shouldn't have been thinking about this, thinking about that. Actually, it's that person who called me. They were complaining about something, and that made me lose focus. Focus on that, focus on that, focus on that, focus on that. The whole week you're focusing on that. Yeah, all right. Of course, you're not gonna feel good, but let's just say you're like, fuck, I just lost my phone. But you know what? It's an old phone. Now I gotta think of getting a better phone. Maybe an iPhone. If I, like the solutions now. Who can I talk to get a new phone? What can I do? I need a new phone. I need a new phone. Blah. Now that's your focus. You're not even focusing on what happened. It happened. What happened happened. So now what are the solutions? You see? Because there's nothing to benefit from thinking about what you regret. Is it? Thinking about your regret. You already knew how you to protect your phone. It just happened by mistake that you lost it. There's no need to blame yourself. It just, bad things do happen sometimes. It's, we do make some mistakes sometimes. I mean, you hear the whole time. So of course, sometimes you're going to make mistakes. You're not going to do everything right. You're not going to do everything perfectly. Sometimes you will make mistakes. Sometimes you will do things that will produce negative results. Sometimes you will think thoughts that are going to create, negative experiences for you by mistake. It's not easy to be perfect in this realm, but you must try to stay afloat the whole time. Try to create a better reality for you by thinking the thoughts that you want to think and making less mistakes. So you are consciousness. You're not a human. You are consciousness that's trying to figure out what it really is, because it got lost in its own dream. So for it to have a better dream, it needs to figure out what it really is and how it's creating the dream. To figure that out, it needs to stop giving its power away. There's a reason why I've been making videos talking a lot about solipsism. Even though people will be like, nah, solipsism is nonsense. It's not nonsense. It's not nonsense at all. It's not. You need to take your power back. You've given your power to other beings, or to what you believed to be other beings. And because of that, you believe what they tell you. Some of these beings, you've given them so much power that they're very successful. They control everything. So what they say matters. And you believe them without realizing that they were created by you. And because you don't have the answers, they don't have the answers. You only believe them because they are powerful. But not as powerful as you are. The only reason why you think they are more powerful than you is because that's what you think. It's not because they are, because they don't even exist. They are just your projection. So really, no one is more powerful than you. You are the most powerful being in the universe. So you must take your power back. If someone has a bad opinion about you, take your power back from them. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you think. You're just my projection. Why should I care what you think? If someone is saying some ignorant shit, you shouldn't be angry. I know how hard it is to not be angry at people who are ignorant. But realize that just your projection, you know. There are those that you probably created first when you're trying to figure out what's going on. But now you've evolved and you look at them, you're like, what's going on? How can they be so stupid? Yeah, at the time you were so stupid. You came up with answers that would, you know what I mean? Stupid answers, right? But you've evolved. But they still exist because you've already created them. So there are aspects of you that were still ignorant, that were still childish. You see? So you mustn't be mad at them. Let them be. Let them eat grass. Let them eat snakes, believing that they are praising God. It's fine. You shouldn't be mad at them. You being mad at them is you giving them power. Because they just have their own opinions. They're just doing their own thing. Someone is preaching nonsense online and you get angry. It's you giving them power. Because they're not talking about you. Even if they were, it shouldn't matter to you. You should let them say whatever they want to say. You see? This is one of the most important videos that I've ever made. Like one of the most important videos that I've ever made. And if you can take what I'm saying seriously, I do believe that you'll feel better and there will be growth and you will understand reality better. You'll see that consciousness is fundamental and everything is happening within consciousness. Matter, it is an illusion. Even the past can change. Like, you can actually change the past. It's just that, and what do I even mean by changing the past? Like, maybe there's some people who don't like you and they really don't like you. You can make them like you without really doing anything, by just thinking how you must think, by responding to things how you must respond. Some people will act like some things never happened, even if they did, because of how you are acting now, because of how you are thinking now, because of what you are thinking now, because of how you are feeling now. So it matters that you try to think the way that you want to think, because sometimes people just think and yeah, that's it. They don't even think the way that they want to think. They just think and feel like they have no power over their own thoughts. But you actually do have power. You can think anything, bro. If you want to think, imagine yourself being very successful, you can, you know. If you want to think that you're on the moon right now, you can think that. You can imagine yourself on the moon, walking on the moon. Like, you can think anything. There's nothing that cannot be thought. So if you have the power to think anything, why not think what you want to think? Why think what you do not want to think? Thank you guys for watching until the end. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep on growing. Let's grow together. Thank you all guys.